G'day everyone, I'm here with all-round legend Scott Luckman from R&W Caboolture. We just want to have a bit of a chat about the housing market, and there's a few myths out there, and I just good to straighten it out with someone who's really in the know.
You know, we've talked recently, yes, there's been a spike in housing. We've waited a long time, almost 20 years, for this sort of growth in house prices to come to our region. So a lot of the longer term investors, or the people that have held their properties for a longer time over that 20 years, finally are getting some prosperous times, and maybe for some of those investors that were interstate, they're taking this opportunity to maybe cash in and put those funds towards other resources. So whether it's a small house or a larger house on small acreage, at least that $100,000 to $150,000 price growth. Unfortunately, Terry, on the sale matters, the market, there's no stock. So two reasons. One, sellers are hesitant to sell because they'll sell today for a good price and very quickly, but then they're at the back of the line trying to buy again in the same market. So with a limited range of stock, there's so many buyers, and we've also experienced with the migration still happening from down south, that migration of population is putting pressure on local people because there's more buyers in the pool trying to live in this beautiful place we call Moreton Bay region and Longman. The other side of the conversation, mate, is we manage just over 1,000 rental properties locally in the Caboolture region, and again there's crisis happening there at the moment with the rental housing. Out of that 1,000 properties, we currently have 2 available. They won't be available for another fortnight to move into. And on average we're getting 50 applications per property for rent. So there's effectively 49 families or 49 individuals missing out on rental accommodation, and I don't know the answer to that. The third prong of the fork is that we're also increasing rents because of that supply and demand. Investors are putting pressure on us to increase their rents each week, and that's also pushing some families really to the breadline. When we assess a rental application, we try to do affordability based on a third. So a third on rent, a third on living and food, and a third on bills and other life. When you're talking about an average rent now being $450 to $500 per week, not a lot of families are earning that $1,500 a week income, regardless where it's coming from. So for us to measure affordability is becoming pretty tight as well.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one because we recently did an inquiry in Canberra, which I was involved into, in affordable housing. And I want to get your opinion on this, Scott, is that most of the people that we spoke to, we had a lot of people come in and give evidence. And the overwhelming solution from all the people that we spoke to was that there needs to be a faster release of land from state governments and councils. Is that a view that the real estate industry shares?
It's definitely one of the solutions. Obviously, we have an area west of Caboolture and earmarked at the moment, Caboolture West. So quite a large area of land mass, and predicting up to say 30,000 houses in time to come. Those quicker land releases and quicker registrations are great, so that developers can get the soil turned over, builders can come. Obviously federal and state, there's incentives there, and there was some great news coming out of the budget federally about the investment in affordable housing perhaps in that Caboolture West area, that it's just not happening today. We're talking maybe even with that boost and incentive and encouragement, we're still talking maybe 2 or 3 years before the soil turns. I'd say in the current climate, an average 3 to 4 bedroom home, you're probably, on a smaller block, realistically you're talking $450 to $500 as a finished product. But again, we're talking sort of $400,000 to $500,000 as an affordable price range. It doesn't seem too affordable.
I know what you're saying, and it's a difficult one because from governments we respect that we live in a democracy and a free economy, and governments in Australia have always said that the market determines the price, and that's one of the challenges. Many people talk about decentralising and maybe more people, because you can still buy a house and land in places like Blackbutt and Nango well under $300,000, but the trouble is the employment situation out there. So we've got these, and it's a complex issue.
We're lucky, mate, we've got lots of land, affordability. we are still very affordable compared to
Yes.
southern areas, or
Yes.
just north of Brisbane. Coming into the Moreton Bay region, we do have that next level of affordability, and the confidence moving forward is, again, with federal decisions that are being made with your team. I see that growth and that prosperity of industry, commerce,
Yes.
roadworks, infrastructure. While ever that's getting pledged and promised by the government, particularly federal, well, then it also helps state government to chip in where they need to bring their shovel and wheelbarrow, and hopefully all the forces align that we're still down this very promising and encouraging future, which again I think we've waited a long time for.
Yeah, we have. And look, we've been a long way behind the southern states in many ways, and a lot of people say we're undervalued for a lot, but it's still a real shock when you're a Queenslander and you're used to paying half of what New South Wales people pay for their homes,
Yep.
and all of a sudden you're paying nearly what they are. It's a real shock to the system. Yeah,
Yep.
and it's an exciting time to live in this community. Like as Scott said, we've both been around the area a very long time, and to see what it was 20, 30 years ago to what it is now, it's a great place to live. We all know that. Thanks for your time, Scott. It was awesome, mate. Good on you, buddy.
Sweet.
Authorised by Terry Young, LNP, Caboolture.